Hey guys, Prowl 1701 here, and today we're reviewing part 4 of the Mutants from the Season 9 box set. Man, you cannot call this story boring. There is always something going on. And here in part 4, stuff. First off, the scientist guy that they meet in the radiation suit. I like him. His accent took me a couple seconds to get used to. When I first heard him talk, I was like, that's weird. But I adjusted to it very, very quickly. I like him. The actor playing him is doing a good job. I'm really liking the guest cast. The actors and the guest cast are all doing a really good job in this story. But I like when the Doctor has another kind of scientist to confer with. There seems to be a mutual respect there between them. I like how they get on. But the guy playing the other scientist, he's doing a good job. I like him as a character. I think the CSO work when they go to find the radiation crystal is done pretty well. You can see some of the yellow fringing, especially in that one shot when it shows John kind of walking like this forward toward the camera. Lots of yellow fringing. The fringing's not quite as bad on some other shots. Again, I know the Mutants is one of the stories, especially kind of the story from Season 9, people wish would have maybe gotten some updated effects. But I think it came out pretty well considering, this is early blue screen, basically, CSO work. I think it came off pretty well, especially since, in Classic Who, they had to do all of this in shot. You couldn't really do it in post. I think they pull it off pretty well. I like when he takes the crystal and there's some, lightning bolts or electrical bolts kind of going to. It's pretty effective. I liked it. I really like the two security guards, the ones that are kind of helping them. I want them to survive. I really want them to survive. The characters like that, they usually get killed at some point. Or they usually die at some point. Sometimes, I guess, just because, we need to kill somebody else off. Sometimes it's senseless. Even Modern Who does that sometimes, like with Jericho and Flux, killed him for no reason. So I really want them to live. It's really going to make my day. I am going to fist punch the air if they survive because I like both of them, the two security guards that are kind of helping them. It's neat learning that the metamorphosis that's going on with the people on the planet is indeed part of their natural evolution. I like that. Just the experiments are kind of making it happen faster, earlier. Learning, watching the other scientists and the Doctor figure out the tablets and realizing that it's talking about the rotation of the planet around the sun and how it has the 500-year seasons and that the people have evolved to mutate because each season is so drastically different on the planet. And learning that the mutants we've seen are just kind of the intermediate stage. It's not the final form they're going to turn into. That's pretty fascinating, almost like a caterpillar, and then when it's in its pupa stage and when it turns into a butterfly. It's pretty nifty to see that. I kind of like learning that the mutants are just kind of the middle stage. It's going to be interesting to see what the final form is. The cliffhanger I thought was pretty good. So again, the CSO work when the wall gets blown away is a little 70s CSO looking. But I still think it's a pretty nice little cliffhanger with the wall getting blown out, the one guy getting sucked into space, and everyone else holding on for dear life, trying not to get sucked out. I like the fact that the Marshal's hair is even blowing, like the air being sucked out by him. I do like the guy playing the Marshal. He's really good in that role. You just love to hate him. I like his little device he uses, his communication device, because it's like a swagger stick, like a character like him would have, but it's also his communication device. I just like how that's combined into one thing. I think that's an ingenious idea, and I think it's executed well in the episode when he just turns it and extends it, and then he talks into it and listens. I really like that. It's such a tiny thing, but I like it a lot. And don't you love those little nuanced things where you're just like, that's pretty cool. I am liking the cave, the location work in the cave or set. I don't know if that's a set or what that is. It's probably a set, actually, the cave. But it looks good. I really like the lighting, like the red lighting that's in it. That looks really good. I actually really like that. And while I wasn't overly impressed with the ship set, I do like the one room, the professor's room, Professor Yeager. His room looks really good. It's got the multi-levels, the railing. The railing kind of makes me think of the bridge from Star Trek Kind of has that railing there. I do like his laboratory there. His laboratory looks really, really nice. And the actor playing the professor is doing a good job as well. He's doing a fine job. So I've liked the guest cast. Yeah, it's interesting seeing where everything's going here. I was happy that the other scientist survived when he fell down in the radiation room. I thought he might have died, but I was glad he was okay when the doctor picked him up and carried him out. Although right there at the end before the cliffhanger, it looked like he pointed and then kind of fell down again, so I don't know if the radiation's affecting him or not. It's interesting to me that the radiation doesn't bother the doctor. I think that's interesting that some radiation, of course, does affect the doctor. I mean, the third doctor does die from radiation poisoning, just like the 10th doctor dies from radiation poisoning. But I do like the fact that, other radiation that's harmful to humans isn't harmful to the doctor and to Time Lords, like the radiation here and the radiation in Smith and Jones that he transfers to his sneaker before dumping it. That to him, that's perfectly harmless. While at the same time, you have like the Lacurtian radiation, which is a little harmful to humans in the fact, it knocks Mel out, but it is fatal to Time Lords, which, of course, it's what caused the Sixth Doctor to regenerate. So I like that, because I do consider The Last Adventure canon. I like the fact that there's radiation out there that's harmful to human and Time Lords, radiation out there that's not not fatally harmful to humans, but fatally harmful to Time Lords. But then there's also radiation out there that might hurt humans, but that a Time Lord can handle just fine. I do really like that. That's pretty cool. So I'm enjoying episode 4. I like this story a lot. I actually watched part 4 twice. I watched it last night, and I was kind of tired, so I didn't get a chance to shoot the review. But I wanted to have it fresh in my mind before I did the review, so I actually watched it again. I think it's a testament to how much I'm engaging with this story that every time I watch an episode, I kind of immediately want to go into the next episode. I just couldn't yesterday because it was so late. But I finished part 1, I wanted to watch part 2, and so on and so on and so on. And then I actually watched part 4 twice in less than 24 hours because I wanted to give a good review of it, and I enjoyed my rewatch of part 4. It's really interesting. The mystery of what's going on in the story is really keeping me going. It's going to be interesting on my second viewing of the story whenever I do rewatch it again, which of course will probably be, probably not this year, another year. But, rewatching it when I already know everything that happens, it's going to be interesting to see how my opinion of the story will change. Because I have heard I know the Mutants doesn't have the best reputation, and I've heard some people say that it would have been better as a 4-parter than a 6-parter. So I'm curious on a rewatch if I'll find it overly long, since I already know everything that'll happen. This is definitely one of those stories. It's going to take multiple viewings before I have a firm opinion on it, I think. But right now, 2/3 of the way in, I'm very much enjoying it and finding it very underrated from what its general reputation seems to be. Although I've met other people who think it's underrated as well. So, part 4 of The Mutants. What do you think of it? Comment down below and let me know. Other things to do. Don't forget to click the like button and the subscribe button. That helps me out, and I certainly appreciate it. My goal is to reach 1,000 subscribers, and we're almost at 900. Almost there. I also have a Patreon if you would like to support me that way. That does help me keep the bills paid, and I certainly appreciate it. There's a link to that down in the description below. Several different tiers to choose from. I also want to give a shout out to some of my top tier patrons, Stephen Crane, Finn Perkins, Unknown289, and Colin Coney. I appreciate their support, as I do the support of all of my patrons. I also have a P.O. box if there's anything you would like to send me to look at and review. There are still a handful of classic Who stories I haven't seen yet. And a link to my Amazon wish list is down there as well. Most importantly, though, thank you for watching.